What do you do when you're going fishing and plan A doesn't work out? You quit and go home, right? Not on your life. You go to plan B, C, D, E, F, and G, whatever's required. This is a great story about plan B. We're coming to you from Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama on Fox Sports Outdoors, on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Well, we rolled into Gulf Shores in Orange Beach, Alabama with high hopes of getting up this morning and going tarpon fishing. Yes, that's right, there are tarpon just off the beachfront here in the summertime. However, we also woke up this morning to 25-knot southwest winds, and that killed any hopes of doing that. So we go to plan B. Chris Vecce is a good friend of mine. He works at a big tackle store here in Orange Beach, and he tells us that there's a great spot he can take us to catch a bunch of speckled trout. So we've brought the Blazer Bay 2420 GTS. We're going to launch it right down the boat ramp. Of course, right out here is the big bridge that goes from Alabama over into Florida. All the swimmers and boaters are all having a great time out there, but we're going fishing up the bay. While we're doing that, we're taking you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters from lakes, rivers, and bays right where you live, both fresh and salt water. So right now the boat goes down the boat ramp. Next time you see me, Chris will be in the boat with us. We're going to be up in a flat explaining how we're going to catch some of these speckled trout. Right now, let's get this whole thing started back at the studio and your weekend planner.
Hey everyone, these Salooner tables are showing fair fishing conditions both days of the weekend. The best daytime fishing starts at 1:51 on Saturday and 2:49 on Sunday afternoon. Nighttime activity begins at 1:26 on Saturday and 2:24 on Sunday night. Look for the sun to rise at 7 o'clock and set at 5:27. Evenings will feature a moon that is 85% visible. We'll be right back to check all of the current fishing reports from throughout the area. Plus, catfishing expert Chad Ferguson pops by to answer your Ask the Pro question. We're coming right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide's wireless and easy-to-use XI3. Waypoint Marine, the Gulf Coast's leading saltwater boating specialist. Strike King, tie one on. Nitro Performance Fishing Boats, because champions aren't born, they're made.
All right, fish on.
Got him. All right, Chris.
That's a good one.
That's a good start. There's two nice specks for you right there.
Good run here. There we go.
You got a fish?
Got a fish.
Good deal.
It feels pretty solid too.
Let's see what we got here. That's a good fish. Look at that trout.
That's a good one.
That's a good start. Hey, welcome back everybody. We've made it out. There's one too. We've made it out, and plan B is now in full effect because the plan A was to go tarpon fishing today, and we're out here speckled trout fishing. We're with Chris Vecce, who works at a local tackle store here. Turn him toward the camera there, Chris. Mm-hmm. There is a good Gulf Shores Orange Beach speck. So the wind is just blowing way too hard for us to get out. What we intended to do. But here is another fish right here. This is not as big as yours, so I'm just going to boat flip him, and we'll hold up a couple of them for the folks here.
That's a nice trout, though.
A couple of good ones. Mm-hmm. There's two nice specks for you right there. Chris, thanks for coming out today. I appreciate it very much.
Thanks for having me.
Chris works at a tackle store here. We'll tell you all about that in a little bit, but the plan was to be out on the beachfront catching big old tarpon
looking
today,
for silver kings.
Why are we not out there?
This wind. You know, the beach tarpon, it's a very visual game. You want to be able to see them roll. You want to be able to, watch your depth finder intently. When it's real rough like this, it's not comfortable, for one. You're not likely to see the fish on the surface. It just, you want conditions to be right. We fished to have fun. It wouldn't have been very fun.
It's blowing 25 knots out there on the Gulf right now. So we're inside. We're on the east end of Gulf Shores in Orange Beach, Alabama. Beautiful place to come on vacation. I'll tell you much more about that as we go along. But what we've done is come to a very protected area back in here, and we're speckled trout fishing. Mm-hmm. So right now we're using some live bait. We may flip over and use some plastics or some topwaters a little bit later, but but the wind is still blowing, and I guess the cool thing about this is you can get out of it even when it's howling.
Yeah, I mean, even though we're in fairly open area right now, as you can see, the wind, it's still fishable. You know, it's still very fishable.
All right, we'll tell you more about it as we go along. Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, speckled trout fishing. Let's see what happens next.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama Fishing Report. As always, this report is brought to you by Can Cooker. Go over to cancooker.com, check out all of the cool, exciting products they have. They have products that will enhance your culinary life, from fishing camp, hunting camp, tailgates, parties, the beach, you name it, check them out at cancooker.com. You know, this time of year to me is pretty special. A lot of times this time of year, the lakes, rivers, waterways really have zero pressure on them. Everybody's in the woods, or the recreational boats and jet skis are put up. Here's where I would go in this 3-state region right now. The shallow water bite on Ross Barnett has been great. I've got tons of reports recently, guys throwing buzz baits, guys throwing walking baits, guys throwing lipless baits, spinner baits. Really good time of year to go to Ross Barnett in Mississippi. In Alabama, Gunnersville is so hard to beat, and you're gonna stay on the main lake, you're gonna fish main river bars, and you're gonna throw a mega dog. I don't know how many bites you get, that depends on the day, but the quality will always be worthwhile. And in Tennessee, it is so hard to beat Dale Hollow right now. I love to fish for those big smallmouth, and I like to take that walking bait, that big mega dog, sexy dog, and just parallel those channel swing banks. The first one in a creek that the creek swings up against in a bay is where you're gonna find a lot of your big smallmouth this time of year. So guys, get out there, go enjoy the leaves changing colors, go enjoy the serenity of empty boat ramp parking lots, and have some fun out there. We'd love to see you here. God bless.
All right, fish on.
Got him. All right, Chris. There we go. He's giving you a little fight on
Yeah, he's running around a lot.
that mock inshore rod and reel I've got you using there. It's a good little rig, and nope. He jumped in there. There we go. All right. There's a nice trout for you right there. Well, we're catching them now. We'll show you the rig, show you all the gear we're using, and how we're setting all this up here in just a little bit. But we're gonna turn this fish back right quick. We're not keeping them today. Again, we could keep a nice mess of them, but Chris, step down here if you would. So, talk about the diversity of this area. I've spent most of my time fishing the intercoastal Mobile Bay. What I've not done is fish the front, the beach side, and then here in the east side, Perdido, and this is, what's this lagoon here called?
This would be Big Lagoon here.
Okay.
Yeah, this would be between the intercoastal and Big Lagoon.
So tell us, what are some of the diverse things that you can do, different kinds of fish you can fish for here in the summertime?
If we were to put a dot where we're at right now and do a 40-mile radius of where we are, the amount of variety you can catch in this area is phenomenal, from, well, like we're doing now, speckled trout, redfish, to blue marlin, wahoo, some of the best bottom fishing in the country. Obviously, red snapper being kind of one of the things we're known for.
And tell us a little bit about the tarpon fishing that we can't do today because of the wind, but what can you do?
The tarpon is kind of a limited thing. They come up here on their spawning migration. Basically, the tarpon setup is you get off the beaches, you're looking for rolling fish, and it's intercepting. You're waiting for the migrating fish that are coming from the east. My favorite way is actually to take my kayak out and fish from my kayak.
Unbelievable. You're fishing out in the Gulf with a kayak up against the beach, catching these giant tarpon.
Up close and personal. You're
looking at a few of these pictures right now of some of these big tarpon that Chris has caught, but this is an incredible place. I'll tell you some more about it. It's one of my favorite places to come, Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. Just an incredible, diverse fishery here. All right, let's get back to catching some more trout for today.
Let's do it.
It is literally one right after the next right now. These fish are just stacked in here. Fish on. It is literally one right after the next right now. These fish are just stacked in here. They move through here in groups. I got to go to the other side. He's going left to right real hard.
Let me know if you need help.
Oh, that's a bigger fish right there.
That's a bigger fish.
Yeah, that's a solid fish.
You're working back up here.
He is not happy at all.
Not happy at all. That's a solid trout. That trout's pushing 20 inches.
Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's the one I wanted to catch out of this school. These fish are moving through here in schools, and we go 15, 20 minutes without a bite, and then all of a sudden, you'll get 3 or 4 fish in a row. Gulf Shores, Orange Beach trout for you right there. We're right here by the Navy base too. What Navy base is this?
This is NAS Pensacola.
Pensacola. And so you'll get a little air show, a little free air show if you want to come fishing here. But there is a nice trout.
Yep.
This is the day to catch him, if you're him, because he gets to get released today. Let's talk about the bottom contour. This place looks flat. If you just drive up here and if we just pan the camera around, it just looks all the same, but it's absolutely not. There's a lot of character to the bottom here. What is this bottom like here, and what are we looking for?
Well, right now we're actually sitting in between the grass beds. We're in kind of a little sandy trough. So the fish are usually working up those edges on the inside of that trough. So that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to present our baits right along those edges. If you throw up just over the grass, your bait can get down the grass and it can hide. These little troughs, these little sandy areas are kind of like a highway for those trout.
But you can see the color variation in the bottom here, in the darker spots of the grass, the lighter spots of the sand. And you want to find those little depressions like that. That's where these trout are hanging, and it seems like we catch 3 or 4, boom, 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 real quick once these schools move through.
Mixed bag saltwater fishing is hot now all along the southeast coast. I'll have all the details, but first, this from our good friends at Foreshore Transportation. Foreshore Transportation, the simple solution to all your freight hauling needs. Foreshore can ship freight across the country or across the state. Whatever the load, wherever the destination, Foreshore gets it done fast, safe, and hassle-free. Georgia Captain Tim Cutting on St. Simon's Island reports a wide variety of inshore fish are hitting well along the Georgia coast. He says superb bull redfish fishing is available in the sounds and inlets and along the sandbars of the barrier islands there. Cut bait's usually the best to use for these big bull reds. Tim also says that bait soakers, guys using shrimp and small mullet baits, minnow baits, are doing real well on flounder and black drum and spotted sea trout. Sheepshead using crabs. Fiddler crabs also has been very good. Over in Alabama, red fishing continues good on the grass flats in the lower rivers and bays. Sight casting with spoons and spinner baits is very productive. Also, soft plastic jerk baits, rigged weedless like you would for largemouth bass, really work well for these redfish on the grass beds. Over in Mississippi, Pascagoula, Bay St. Louis, and Biloxi are all good for spotted sea trout and redfish. Look for trout under diving birds. Well, that's it for along the coast. Get out on the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
Buck Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Mercury, Go Boldly. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. Balls Out, made in the USA. Heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
There we go, solid.
There's a solid hookup right there on my mock inshore rod.
Just looks like he's got a little bit better shoulders on it. There we go.
You got a fish on?
Yep. It's running right towards me too.
Here, I'll swap places with you. Oh yeah, that's a good trout, right on top. I'll come under you, do the little dance, and I'll be your net man. Here we go.
He had it and he was coming towards me. That's a little guy.
Probably boat flip him.
Yeah, we'll flip him. Just right in the inside of the mouth.
You got your pliers there handy?
I'm gonna just reach in there and
Oh, you'll reach in there with all those snaggle teeth in there. Hey everybody, we're still at Gulf Shores and Orange Beach today with Chris Veche. We're out here. We're actually about to dodge a little line of thunderstorms coming through, so we may have to make a quick run and get out of them for a couple of minutes. But doing some speckled trout fishing and salvaging a day, and that's the greatest thing about this place, is that plan A doesn't work, you go to plan B, C, D, and there's plan B right there. We're catching some nice speckled trout right there. That'd be a good keeper.
would be.
If we're keeping them today, but which we're not. Hey, Chris, I want to show one thing here real quick.
Yep.
You've got a cool little technique. In fact, my rod's out, I'll pick it up. So when we're fishing these live croaker, free lining them, we don't have any weight on here. And when a fish bites, Chris has got a cool little technique to make sure you hook the fish. And Chris, I wanted you to show that real quick. So Demonstrate that where she can see it.
So basically, you know, especially when you're fishing a bigger croaker, you know, sometimes you gotta let the fish mouth it a little bit. You gotta let him, when he first pops it, if you come tight on him too quick, you can pull it right out of his mouth. So even though we're fairly tight on it, what I do is I just reach for my finger, bail's open, and I just use my fingertip to hold the line. So that when I feel the hit, all I gotta do is immediately pull back, the fish can run off, you can give him whatever count you feel is appropriate, come tight on him, reel down, set the hook. Versus, you know, if you just leave the bail open, obviously you have uncontrolled line. And then if you're staying tight on him, sometimes the fish comes tight too quick and you slam the bait out of his mouth.
That's a cool technique. I've done a lot of live bait fishing, a lot of croaker fishing for speckled trout, but I've never seen that technique. And just a good way to make sure that you get a good hook set and a good hookup with your trout. Okay, we're going to rig back up, see if we can catch another one here.
Yeah, we're going to give it a few more minutes.
we got a line of thunderstorms coming right here, and we're going to get out of it here pretty quick.
Folks, it's time for your Carolinas Report. This week brought to you by Crazy Sister Marina, located on the Marsh Walk in Murrells Inlet. We can take care of all your needs on the water, and don't let the fact that it's fall deter you from coming and visiting us. The fishing is on fire. Visit crazysistermarina.com and book your trip today to come down and enjoy what we can offer. And I'll tell you what, the temperatures are dropping. We're starting to see the water temperatures drop, but the fish are heating up. I'm telling you, inshore, nearshore, and offshore, and the saltwater side of things, it doesn't matter. But one bite that's just been incredible the last couple weeks, and I didn't get to talk about it last week, but the flounder bite. I tell you what, the fish are feeding up. They're getting ready for that move offshore to that 80 to 120 foot of water for the spawn. And I'll tell you, you can catch some huge flounder right now. You know, a good way to get out and target flounder this time of the year, if you're gonna fish with artificials and some great baits or gulp, anything like that, a DOA, shrimp. If you're in Murrells Inlet, if you're in McClellanville, fish those oyster beds, fish around the edges of those oyster beds. If you've got some docks, fish around those docks. These flounder will lay up in there. It's where that bait's gonna be, and they'll lay up in there, and you can catch some big fish in your body of water this time of the year. In North Carolina right now, the yellowfin tuna are starting to fire off, but we're gonna find those wahoo all along the coast here over the next couple months. Get out and find those schools of bait out there on the break, and you can have a great time with some big wahoo this time of the year. This has been your Carolinas Report, brought to you by Crazy Sister Marina. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Here's a bite. Here's a bite. He's running with it. He's got it.
There we go, solid.
There's a solid hookup right there on my.
Fish looks like he's got a little bit better shoulders on it too.
Yeah, this one's fighting me a little bit harder here.
Now
We've
now
caught
it's
a lot
coming at us.
of keeper fish. He's going right to left there, hard left.
Yeah, just flip him, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, these are all just good, solid,
Good size, solid fish.
solid keeper trout.
Yep.
If you were out here keeping them, you know, there's a lot of guides that fish up and down here, and if you want to come here, you don't have to have a boat. You know, you don't even have to have your own tackle or anything. I know you work at the tackle store, and all these guides, they'll provide everything you need, right?
Absolutely.
We're going to give you some contact information where you can book a guide trip here if you'd like to come. There it goes. How many guides do you think work this area overall?
It's quite a few, and there's a rise and a fall every few years. You know, it's one of those things that everybody would like to fish for a living, and a lot of them start, and a few of them realize it's not for them. But there are quite a few of them in the area, and a lot of the ones that are here now have been guiding here for a very long time. So there's a lot of veterans. There's a lot of really solid guides, very reliable guides to go with.
If you want to come on vacation here, I would highly suggest that you book a fishing trip. You can do it right here out of Orange Beach. There's a marina right there. You can book a guide trip right out of there. If you're staying out towards Fort Morgan, there's guys that fish the Mobile Bay area. Patrick Garmison's a good buddy of mine, fishes that whole complex there. Come to Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, play on the beach, go play golf. I played Kiva Dunes yesterday. What a great golf course that is. Book yourself a guide trip, come out and catch some speckled trout, some big old redfish.
You can always watch our latest episode on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Catch up on past episodes and learn about fishing techniques and new gear at our how-to page. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for new fishing videos every day. Simply search for Fox Sports Outdoors and click the like button on Facebook and the follow button on Twitter, and watch a new episode every week on any device by downloading the free Waypoint TV app on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Fox Sports Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. Request our free 2019 fishing guide at orangebeach.com. Lose, feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland, the best in bass and crappie lures, heads to tails. Glacier Glove, stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro segment, where viewers get expert insights from professional insiders. Kyle wants to know, what is the best time of year to catch catfish? For the answer, we asked catfishing expert and guide, Chad Ferguson.
Fall and winter are without a doubt one of my favorite times to catch catfish, and if I could only fish one time a year, it would be in the winter time. It's one of the best periods of the year for catching catfish. If you can get out there and brave the cold weather and the elements, it's an excellent bite. During that time of year, because the bait fish really move around and bunch up into tight schools, it makes it a lot easier to locate catfish and especially locate big numbers of those big trophy-sized blue catfish.
Thank you, Chad. If you want some help from one of the pros, simply go to foxsportsoutdoors.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now it's time to find out who wins this week's Big Catch of the Week.
We are back at the boat ramp. In fact, that's the bridge going across from Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama, over into Florida, just over my left shoulder. Tons of party boats and people out having fun on the beach just behind me. But it's time right now for this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. He is Danny Plemons of Marion, North Carolina, showing off a 7.5-pound largemouth bass he caught at Lake James Nebo in North Carolina. If you'd like to be our next winner, just go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/foxsportsoutdoors. Find last Tuesday's post about the Big Catch of the Week. Post your big fish photo there along with all the details about the catch, and you just might be our next winner. For the gear today, we use the brand new Lew's Mock Inshore Speed Stick Rod and Reel combo. It is the perfect combo. I love the action for speckled trout fishing, also for red fishing, flounder fishing, any of those inshore species. It's the perfect combo. You need to check that one out at the Lew's website. Now, as far as the croaker rig, we used a free line technique. We used no weight on the line. It was Berkley X9 braid, tied to 20-pound fluorocarbon leader, small trout hook. We just took these croaker and hooked them through the back just above the tail, cast them out as far as we could cast away from the boat, and let them free swim in that 4 to 6 foot water. That's the way we caught the trout. Next time you're standing in line, try a little experiment. See how long you can go without pulling out your smartphone and looking at it. It's a difficult thing to do, I can promise you. We live in the most connected society in history, yet one of the loneliest. The way we can battle isolation, loneliness, and despair is by making connections with real people. If you get in a crisis or a problem and you need help, it won't be your Facebook friends or your Twitter followers that come to your rescue. It'll be your real life, flesh and blood, family and friends who will help you out. So make time to keep those connections. Spend time with real people. It'll fill a void that you can't live without. Our special thanks to Chris Vecce for jumping into Blazer Bay and helping us find those speckled trout and giving us some great insight into the Gulf Shores and Orange Beach fishing scene. Now, if you'd like to get all your fishing tackle or book a guide trip, you can do all of that at Sam's Bait and Tackle. That's where Chris works. He'll fix you up with everything you need or put you in touch with a great charter captain or fishing guide here in the area. And if you'd like a great place to stay, the folks at Harris Properties are your contact. They have over 115 properties available all the way from Orange Beach through Gulf Shores and out towards Fort Morgan, but they specialize in pet-friendly and fishing-friendly properties toward the Fort Morgan area. The beach there is less crowded. You can contact them at the information you see on your screen. From Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.